My first idea was to go and spend time on an island somewhere and escape screens and emails and phone calls and all the white noise that we have in our everyday modern life. I wonder if I'm following their footsteps, because those actions are constant. The original meaning in Gaelic is haunted or mysterious. When you see pictures of the Shiant Isles, they're big precipitous cliffs, and it all looks very dangerous and wild, and it's separate and it looks magical. It's like a I don't know, an island in the clouds. That was where I wanted to go. And it wasn't originally the Shiants that I was looking for. I was looking for any island, really. But I started looking at these particular islands because there was so much on them, and I thought, you know what, that's where I really want to go. Actually, I was really surprised when I got there. It felt really homely. Of course, you have to keep your wits about you. It's all rocks and columns and things, but it also had a sense of having had people on it before, having that history. So I didn't want to take any books that took me away from this. So I didn't want to take any fiction books. I only wanted to take things that added to my experience. So I took Adam's book. I also took his new book, The Seabird's Cry, book on St Kilda, bird reference guide. I was constantly underlining it and saying, this is the bit where he talks about the pillow stone, and this is the bit where he says so-and-so landed and they had a fight here. And so it was brilliant reference. It was like almost like a little kind of Lonely Planet guide to my temporary home. There's a gentleness, I think, that comes with the fact that there's so much wildlife there. These little personalities flying around you that you see every day. I feel it's a little bit like you go into this bustling city, but it's a very foreign city in a foreign country. I cannot speak the language and I do not know the customs, however much I might try and learn. Some birds, like the wrens, allow me to peek into their homes or lives, may be more familiar with our land-bound customs. Others, like the seabirds, ignore the wide-eyed tourists, like businessmen travelling to the city, maybe even tutting disdainfully at the inconvenient outsider getting in their way. Oyster catchers resting on the roundhouses cackle and take flight as I stand up, flying around the ruins. The wren bounces along the wall, no more than a metre above me. I recognise its call. Pew, pew, pew! Sounds like a laser gun from a 70s sci-fi series. I hear snippets of whirring, the purr of a cat, or whir of an old plane motor in the distance. It's the songbird's wings moving between the old walls. So soft, it's almost like a moth taking off and landing near a lamp. I woke up in the early hours imagining classical music before realising it was actually just the birds on the shore. It's so lovely to be right amidst all this life. It's not quiet, it's actually really noisy, but it's peaceful in a different way. Try and find a bit where I'm like, it's raining. Amazing how quickly the weather can change here. I don't know how the little birds do it. I mean, if I'm getting almost blown over, they must have to work so hard against the wind. It's going to be quite stormy tonight because the wind and the rain is getting worse and worse. If I look out over the sea is churning. There are whirlpools. You're not feeling the weather either, are you, Barbara? In writing my diary and in making the GoPro videos, every now and again I thought, oh, I've got to show someone this. And I suppose, in a way, by actually having a diary or a video diary, which I suppose in a way, by pressing record and also by writing a diary, does that mean I'm not completely there on my own? But also because it was such a special, I see things and I think I want to remember this, like I suppose like an old-fashioned photo album.
Are you ever anywhere really on your own?
That's the thing. And I found I could, every now and again, I could get myself into a little bubble there where I really did get this, it's a really strange feeling that you get. I don't know how to describe it, it's almost like a clarity of thought that you get from the complete freedom of being on your own and not having any interruptions or screens or white noise, even music, you know, whether you like it or not. But it was hard to keep that bubble. I'd see a plane go over, or a dredger would be in the bay. What's that? Helicopter. And I thought, wow, look, I want to show someone this. So I suppose you're never really on your own. And even in a place like that, you're still accompanied also by the people who were there before. You're part of the kind of the culture of the place, because there were ruins everywhere, and there are sheep, and that's all history of where it was before. So you're never really in a wild, solitary place, truly. Loneliness is something which most people have asked about in terms of me going away to the Shiants, and it's really strange. I didn't feel lonely once, and I don't know whether that's because I quite enjoy my own company, but I think it's partially because you people your everyday thoughts with the people who you know and love. So say I'd be watching the eagles and I'd say, oh, I know someone who'd love to see this, my grandfather would love to see this, or I'd be washing up and I'd think, oh, my mum would be making a joke about the way I'm doing this.
Just having some foraged lunch, so I should say welcome to Cooking with Katie. Or something like that. So I've got the dulse seaweed, which I collected from the shore earlier. I've got some stock on, which is miso paste, garlic, salt, pepper and oil, and it's already got some of the seaweed in there. You can see it kind of floating around in there. And I'm just going to add this other stuff. And then it's going to be a nice, healthy, it doesn't look very appetizing, but trust me, seaweed soup, especially with miso, is really nice. The Japanese, they have it right. I know I'd probably say it anyway, but this is ridiculously good seaweed soup. I'm happy with this one.
To do that island life, I was thinking about there was a hermit living where I stayed on the Shiants, and I think it would be amazing to live that hermit life, to have that peace and clarity with nature.
And not only that, we're in such an incredible place. I'm not sure if you can see behind me, but up there is a cliff full of puffins, shags. There are fulmars nesting just behind me. They're not here at the moment. It is mad that there is so much plastic. There are so many things that we can do to change this. If we take part in beach cleans and pick this stuff up, then that's great. We're taking it off our shores, but we also need to change our habits, because we do not need plastic bottles. We're waking up. It's just about whether we're waking up in time. But this is ridiculous. And there's a lot more to clean up. It's going to be an interesting job trying to get these up the hill. But I just can't get over the amount of bottles there are. Just so pointless.
All you want to do is just say, stop, everyone. This is what we need to look at. This is what we need to concentrate on, because we haven't got long, and these are going to go. But again, that's the thing when we're so disconnected from this, when we live our lives and maybe we come down for a picnic by the beach, we don't see how damaging our behaviour is.
That's a wonderful spot.
I love it when you can see them underwater, because the water's so clear. I was not interested in birds at all until I went to the Shiants, and now I'm like, oh my god, the birds. Sorry, I'm getting distracted.
No.
You see the little pink feet coming out? I love that. I would be a wren. I'd be a little wren. I think a lot of people would say that they'd be eagles, but since spending time out there, seeing the eagles, seeing them being bothered by gulls and bonxies, these tired old dogs being bothered by these little squawking birds, I wouldn't be an eagle. I wouldn't be a puffin either. They seem to be a little bit stressed, and they have to conform to their little social rituals. But the wren just does its own thing. The wren's bold, Yeah, I love the wrens. The wrens were, I think, one of my favourite animals there, for sure.
I'm due to be picked up in 20 minutes. Look at this view. All packed up. My bag's down on the shore, ready to go. Feels very strange. I've become so fond of this place. It's just been... This trip has been more than I ever expected it to be, times 100. And whilst it hasn't always looked as perfectly sunny and gorgeous as this, it is a little paradise here. The wildlife, the diversity is just incredible, and it's just such a beautiful place to stay. I feel very lucky, and I feel very protective over it now. It's been a really, really special 6 weeks. Bye, little home. We'll see you soon.